I'm Frank Vaughn. It's later in the day, June 5th, 2025, and I just have to comment more in depth about this Elon Musk, Donald Trump feud, because there are a lot of bad takes out there, and I want to give you my take. And it's not going to be a popular one, but when have I ever been here to be popular? Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna start right from the top. We're going to go to Elon Musk profile, direct. First thing. Top post. Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? 81% vote yes. That's Twitter. And every poll I've seen so far asking the question, Elon Musk versus Donald Trump, people are coming down heavy Musk. Now, Elon Musk, this tweet here, again, this is just true. Kazan D. Asaidu. I hate that this needs to be clarified. Elon Musk did not criticize Trump personally first. Trump criticized Elon first in typical Trumpian fashion. This is what he does. But I don't think Trump has ever come down personally on an ally so close as Elon Musk and somebody who's given up so much for his presidency. Trump needed Musk in Pennsylvania. Elon did a lot for him in Pennsylvania. And Elon sacrificed a lot of stock value, a lot of personal wealth to go about doing Doge's business. And he uncovered some pretty major things that were very important. Now, the big, beautiful bill, as it's called, has some good stuff in it. It's not a cut and dry thing. There are good elements, but there's a lot of pork. It grows the deficit. It is contrary to what Trump campaigned on doing. Now, people said, unfortunately, Trump ran as part of a Republican Party and a slate of Republican congressional candidates and Senate candidates that never intended to keep their promises. Well, that's a problem, but it's not a problem that justifies Trump abandoning one of his core campaign promises. But set that aside for a minute. I fully acknowledge the headwinds within the Republican Party. I get it. What I don't get in this instance is Trump going scorched earth nuclear on Elon Musk, somebody who's done so much for him. Now remember, it was Elon Musk's ass that bought Twitter. It's his risk. It's Teslas that are being burned everywhere. Elon's put a lot on the table here, and all he did was criticize what is a pork-filled, terrible bill that just increases the debt burden on Americans and kicks the ball down the line. And you can argue it's justified. You can argue it's not justified. That's fine. But you have to acknowledge the fact it's a bad bill. It's a big bill, and there's nothing beautiful about it. Sure, it gives some tax relief to people, but what good does that do if America ends up bankrupt? Now, further down, and this is where it kind of gets nuclear. Elon Musk has indicated, actually, I'll go back to my profile for this because there's some comments I want to address directly. Elon Musk, 4 hours ago, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Now, in my comment section, a couple people have hit on this theme. I think it would be really naive to believe the idea that this whole public spat isn't a strategic positioning tactic that will have other unseen implications that we're not aware of yet. Whole thing seems fabricated to me. That is wishful thinking. That is way too naive. That is too neat and tidy. Everybody's convinced, and this is a problem I've had for so long, that this is all a movie. It's all scripted, and everything is predetermined. People have been saying this nonsense since 2016, that there's no random chance involved and that Trump is the king and he's in control. Absolute command. God's will made manifest. So many people hold to this point of view. Never put your faith. I said this in today's edition. Never put your faith in anything but God. Don't put your faith in men. Only engage reason for men. People clinging to the idea that this is all fabricated are desperately clinging to their narratives. They're not being reasonable. Even if it proved to be fabricated, you shouldn't be so sure because you on the outside simply don't know. Now, the big bomb is naming Donald Trump in the Epstein files. There is this take, which I am seeing repeated over and over again on X right now. Carol says, I seen it, but with everything they tried to do to bury Trump, with this would have been out already if it was true. So the idea is that if he was in the Epstein files, it would have been released already by the Democrats. Not if there's a lot of Democrats implicated at the same time. If there's a great big club of people and they're all implicated in the same thing, and implicated does not mean guilty. I want to make sure that you understand that. In the game of politics, guilt doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as implication. But if they're on the flight logs, if it's proved that Donald Trump had closer associations with Epstein regardless of the outcome than he's otherwise indicated, that gives him incentive to protect the Epstein files. And it also, if the Democrats involved are so named in those flight logs, are so named in those files, and they are actually guilty, they have incentive not to release them. So there's it's mutually assured destruction. It's not nuclear, it's just nuclear in politics. So it's not necessarily true that it would have been released already, because if there's enough people in powerful positions, enough of the establishment involved, it incentivizes them all to keep their mouths shut and keep it covered up. Now, the thing is, as someone rightly noted, if this is not true, if Trump is not in the Epstein files, then what Elon Musk has done is defame him, and Donald Trump should sue Elon Musk. That would be the right course of action. Elon has a lot of money, and Trump could take a bunch of it. If he doesn't sue, that says something. If Elon doesn't retract it, that says something. The first thing that should follow from this is a defamation suit and discovery. Boy, would that be interesting. It would prove everything. It might actually give us those Epstein files. So, to sum up, it is not necessarily true that the Democrats would have released them if enough of them would have been damaged by it. There may be a sense of mutually assured destruction. And if it is indeed defamatory and there's no substance to it whatsoever, and Elon is talking out his backside, then Donald Trump should sue. He should bring an action. And if he doesn't bring an action, well, that, in my mind, says something too. But either way, back to the point. This is why I've been warning people not to put all their eggs in the Trumpian basket. There's this dangerous notion that he is in absolute control and nothing can go wrong and everybody just needs to sit back and watch the movie play out. That's not the case. It's never been the case. It's particularly dangerous in Western Canada, where we should be focusing on autonomy, we should be focusing on sovereignty, and we should be focusing on doing it ourselves as best we can. And not waiting for the cavalry to show up, because there's no guarantees the cavalry's coming. Again, faith only for God, not for men. I personally think Trump looks terrible here. Absolutely terrible. Now, we know Trump likes to go personal. We know he likes to be in the news cycle. We know he does this with his opponents. But Elon is not just your average run-of-the-mill Trump opponent. He's been a staunch and stalwart ally. He has sacrificed enormously, and he has exposed waste, fraud, and abuse, things that Trump campaigned on ending, on a scale that the American public, and the Canadian public for that matter, as spectators in this spectacle, have never seen before. Computers that just print money without there being any accounting for it. Huge amounts of fraud at Social Security. You would have never known if Doge hadn't gone through all this. And the Republican Party is very resistant to codifying any of those cuts and getting rid of any of that fraud. And the big, beautiful bill doesn't do anything about it. All Musk did was criticize a bill. And Trump is so thin-skinned that he decided to take it into the personal arena, talking about ending SpaceX contracts. And so now Elon Musk, if I can find it quickly, is talking about ending Dragon, the SpaceX Dragon program, which carries astronauts back and forth. In light of the president's statement about the cancellation of my government contract, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. People think this ain't real. These are words affecting the future of a company. Starship, the most advanced rocket program on the face of the planet, is now at risk because of Donald Trump's inability to take criticism. SpaceX is one of the greatest American companies. Watching these rocket launches is a feature in my household. We plan our day around it. My son and I and the whole family, we get together and watch this thing, and I tell them, that's the ship that's going to take us to Mars. It ain't some NASA spacecraft. And Donald Trump is upset because Elon Musk made a recommendation for the head of NASA that was a Democrat. He probably made the recommendation because the person was capable. I don't know all the details about that. This is terrible. This is an American tragedy playing out in real time. SpaceX ain't the enemy, all because Trump criticized, or because Elon Musk criticized a bill. This is where we're at. This personal spat blowing up one of the greatest alliances that America has ever seen. Now that Elon Musk has dropped the entire Epstein bomb, after all these other things have transpired, I don't know if the damage is reparable. The genie seems to be out of the bottle. And what a tragedy it is.